Hello, wow, look at that. Wow, is that who I can see over there with the live stream? How are you? How are you today? My name is Gil Posnowski. Welcome to the Laser live stream. This is where it all happens. We get together and we talk everything laser. We have talked everything to do with diode, in the Emblaser. This is a place to come together. I want to thank you all who are in the chat room right now for joining us again. It has been an incredible week. As most of you know, I'm in Melbourne, Australia. I'm going to turn myself down. I can hear myself actually delayed, but that's okay because my attention is with you. Melbourne, Australia has been locked down now for 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Melbourne, Australia, home of Darkly Labs and also the home of me. And I've just been spending a lot of time in the micro makerspace behind me, working on my Emblaser, working on a whole lot of projects. And I can see from a lot of the posts, both on Facebook and directly with me, I can see a lot of people are working, taking this extra time to get a little bit creative and work with their laser cutters. It's absolutely amazing, amazing to see. Now, I originally planned to do this live stream all about maintaining your laser cutter. Unfortunately, this week I had some bad news. I lost a family member, and that actually I had to take my attention and actually apply it to my families as we got through this. You know, it was completely unexpected and it came out of the blue. So what we're going to do today is we're going to change the subject a little bit. We did advertise it as, you know, maintaining and cleaning your laser cutter. We're going to actually look at small business and laser cutting. And I know this is something that people have a lot of interest in. I get a lot of comments on a lot of the YouTube videos I have about laser cutters. People are always asking, you know, can I start a small business? Can I start a second business? Can I start a hobby business? Is this machine going to be able to produce what I want to make? Is it reliable? How do I use the software? So I'm hoping that if you have a laser cutter already, you'll find some interest in what we're going to be discussing, as well as looking at some of the things that have been produced by Emblaser users all over. I'm going to jump straight into the chat room. I want to see who's here. We've got Graham. Hey, Gil. You're up in Liliwara. Thanks so much, Graham. It's great to see you here. Adrian is also saying good evening, Gil. I'm saying good evening back to you, Adrian. Rob Ozzy is in Toowoomba, Queensland. And you know what? I love the fact that Rob Ozzy is here every single week. It is awesome. Thank you so much, my friend. And he also tells me that someone else that we know from a different platform is going to be here really soon. So that'll be interesting. I don't know if he's actually seen one of these streams before, but it is totally cool. And Aaron Engineering, my good friend Aaron, is also in the house saying that he's watching on his television, but he can't comment. That's okay, Aaron. I'm feeling like I finally made it to the big time. How cool is this? It's a YouTube live stream on a big TV. That is awesome. That makes me totally happy. And you're watching as Aaron Engineering. That is totally cool. I'm really glad that everyone's been able to hang out here. We've got 11 people in the chat room. Let's jump straight into it. I like to showcase other Emblaser users and what they have created in the last kind of 2 weeks before since we've done the last live stream. Let me show you some of these amazing pieces, and I hope that you get inspired by what you see here. They are phenomenal. These pieces are just so cool that, you know what, what I love about seeing these examples every single week is simply, I know what I make because I make it every day, but I wouldn't have thought to make the sort of stuff that gets sent in, and it's just cool and inspiring, and I go, you know what, let's go do that. That's kind of cool. So let's check out the first example. These are from Himenair. Himenair hangs out all the time, so it is totally cool. Just wanted to say that Cassandra is also turned up in the channel. And we've also got Easy. Easy is also coming and hanging out with us, so that's kind of cool. But check out these two examples from Himenair. The first one happens to be kind of like I'm not too sure what the right term is, but they're like star signs, right? So there's a Libra, and you know, they're the signs of the zodiac is what I was trying to say. Get your words right, Gil. It's not that bad this week. And he's actually has these pieces laser cut on an Emblaser, and they're etched on the Emblaser as well. So I would love to, I'm going to go speak to him and her about exactly how he does it. The other example on this slide is also awesome. He has a picture of Yoda and all of his sayings, which he's then framed up. I happen to know how he created this. If I'm correct, he took a piece of glass, spray painted it black, inverted the image, and then got the laser to remove or etch onto the black paint, which gave an incredible image. That stuff looks it's amazing, man. I say amazing a lot, but that's something that I would love to have hanging in my house. It is just awesome to see that kind of level of creativity. It's just cool, man. It is just so cool to see what you can do with a very, I don't want to say basic, the Emblaser is not a basic machine, but there's a lot of people who say because it's a diode laser, you can't get good results. I challenge them to actually look at these things and say to me that it is not a professional one. We're going to look at a lot of examples like this. Him also shared with us this incredible, it's a set of 4 steampunk images that he set in a frame with cogs, which he again cut out on the Emblaser. I mean, you know, him is an incredibly creative person, and I love to see the broad spectrum of pieces that he creates. Again, you know, by looking at this picture frame, while the picture frame wasn't created on the Emblaser, you have the etched images and the cogs and the pieces below all made with the Emblaser. It is awesome stuff. If you're drinking at home, every time I say awesome, take a drink. It helps this live stream go a little bit smoother. Let's move on to Jose Santos. Jose shared this in the Facebook group. This happens to be like a scorecard, a little scorecard and a base score for a baseball game. We don't play baseball here in Australia, but I'm pretty sure that is a baseball game. It's really cute. I liked it. It's also sitting on the top of his Emblaser too, which I thought was really cute. And he actually shared these images too, which kind of blew me away. I wanted to share these with you. These are etchings, obviously for a child. We've got one Rosie and one Jessica, and if you see those dots and dashes underneath, I speculate that that's probably the graphic of a heartbeat. So I thought this was really creative in the sense that when you are about to have a child and you go and to the doctor and they do a now see, it's been a big week and I'm missing my words, but when they check with an ultrasound, you can hear the heartbeat and they record that. Well, if you put that heartbeat into audio editing software, that I think may be the graphic representation of that heartbeat. And I thought to myself, what a gift, man. What a gift to give to people who are expecting children. Again, it's things I wouldn't have thought about, but it is totally, totally cool. Just want to jump back really quickly into the Laser Live chat and see that Graham says, thanks Gil, Yoda is one of my better engraves. So Graham is him, of course. I should have known that. It's an awesome, awesome engrave. I really love that. And thank you for hanging out with us so I can showcase your amazing work. Now, I like to also add a little bit of what I do during the week with the Emblaser. Let me show you here. I've been playing with EVA foam. I've been trying to create some signage. I use 1mm EVA foam, which you can get in any hobby store. Now, EVA foam is smelly and is a little toxic, so when you want to do this, you want to make sure that you vent everything right out the window. The first thing that I created was a caution sign. This equipment produces creativity when energized. That sign itself, check this out. That sign, if I move my head, is right above my 3D printers, right there. Whoa, hang on, right there. Right there. If this shot was a little wider, you would have seen it. And the other one is a YouTube logo and a DLive logo. I've been hanging out on DLive a little bit, not so much with the maker stuff, but have definitely been sharing a little bit of my journey. So I made both the YouTube and the DLive logos to be put around the micro maker space so that people know where they can find me. I'm actually giving away those DLive logos as a prize because that's what we do. We end up kind of having a cool time on DLive. So if you're interested, not to pull you away from the YouTube experience, but if you're interested in just kind of hanging out and seeing what's going on, you can catch me and you can find me by using my name that's just below here. It is totally, totally cool. Before we move on, I want to say thank you to everyone who shares their work here every single week or every second week. It's not every single week yet, but if you guys want to, we can definitely do that because to be able to share your work, I'm a firm believer that everything that you create can find an audience. And sometimes there's a little bit of fear in play when it comes to sharing. So I want to thank you all for being, for stepping up and sharing what it is that you create. And I also want to say to people who are here maybe for the very first time, thank you for coming here on the Laser Live Chat. We have an open kind of policy. If you're talking about things, we like to make this a little bit of a two-way street. We like to hear your experiences with the Emblaser or with your laser cutter and hear what you're doing. But if you would be so kind, there's a little logo that you'll see in the bottom right-hand corner that says subscribe. It's a little picture of me. The thing that would support me the most is if you could go down there and just hit that subscribe button. That is totally awesome. If you get something incredible out of this live stream, if you're inspired or if you found a new tip or trick and you really want to share that love, there's a link right below that you can actually go to PayPal and buy me a beer. Or if you want to, you can go into the chat room and either buy a sticker or a super chat. All those things confirm to me that you guys are enjoying yourself. And it also allows me to go and buy supplies and keep working on the videos as well as the live stream itself. So I just wanted to put that out there. It is totally cool. Again, in the live stream, you can see DLive is a live streaming platform, says Rob Ozzie. Yeah, it absolutely is. I talked to him earlier, Gil. That was what I thought too. It's actually a Spotify logo. Okay, that's cool, Graham. I wasn't too sure. Oh, you thought the DLive logo is a Spotify. That's cool, man. I mean, you know what? All those things happen. But yeah, as I said, you're more than welcome to come over. We talk a little bit of making, but we talk a lot. I call YouTube my job and DLive my hang. So, just to let you guys know a little bit. We are going to talk all about small business and the Emblaser. I'm really, really blessed to have a very special person waiting off to the side. Her name is Julie Pennell, and Julie runs Luna Rose & Co. This is she'll say it's a small business. I don't think it's a small business at all. We're gonna go and cross to her. She's an entrepreneur. She runs a business with over 100 Australian-made products, and she does all of this with the Emblaser. Julie's not there. Let me cut back to it. Let me see where Julie is. Hang on a second. It's always fun when things jump out. Julie is in the waiting room. Let me see what's going on here. I think we had a bit of a dropout. Julie, are you? Let me see what's going on. Julie, can you hear me? Hello. Let's see what's going on. It's always...
Okay, gotcha.
You got me. Let me try this again. Let me see. Julie, I can see you. How are you tonight? Yep, Julie, can hear me? Cannot hear me?
Hi, yes, I got you.
Okay,
Hi, Gil.
that's okay. Hey, how you doing? Do me one favor. If you could just move a little bit to your left, that'd be great. I don't know what happened. We kind of actually do it the other way. Go to the perfect.
My left.
We had this all worked out, and then for some reason you got dropped out on the thing. So I apologize. But thank you so much for being here today. No, it's okay. The show must go on regardless if it's live or not. It's kind of one of those situations.
Not a problem.
Excellent. So, Julie, you run Luna and Co. No, it's Luna Rose and Co. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You flustered me. You flustered me when I went to you and I was like, "Oh, you're not here." We were just joking before the live stream that it's all gonna happen. It's all gonna happen in the right way. You run an incredible website. It's called Luna Rose and Co. Can you share with us what it is that you do on that website?
Okay, so my daughter and I, who started the business a year ago, create personalised gifts and keepsakes. It really arose from a need and a want to be able to supply family members with memorable keepsakes and gifts for their loved ones.
Fantastic.
It was born from really a need of just not wanting to buy generic products for everybody for gifts, for Christmases, for birthdays, for weddings, for babies.
Sure.
You know, and with the talents of my daughter, who, you know, who's a graphic designer, and my creativity.
Yep.
I've been in the building industry for over 23 years, so construction and building and making is very much in there. So, you know, we thought we'd give it a little bit of a go, and Luna Rose and Co was born.
Amazing. I mean, so you started this business with your daughter. You shared with me that she's kind of like the graphic designer on, you know, that's amped up and loves to create these different products. I've got some examples of your products. I want to show. I was just showing your website just before, but we have some examples here. What I love about it, it crosses right across the board. What I'm showing them right now is your calculator for students, for young students who are able to go out there and actually, you know, use different tokens to do math, as well as your stencil and draw kit, which looks pretty phenomenal. I wish I had something like that when I was at school. What you know, what inspired you to make kind of learning products with your laser?
Okay, so that's a really great question. So, you know, obviously my daughter's 28, my son's, you know, 26. So
Yep.
Clearly it's been a while since I've had to deal with any educational products for my children. It really arose from a need to basically take children away from, let's be honest, what we're looking at right now, which is a screen, and take them back to the basics of hands-on, touch, feel, not sitting in front of a screen, sitting down with somebody beside you or even by themselves, and making them not only have to think about what they need to have as an end result, but, you know, how
Right.
back to basics, taking education and learning back to a basic, but also in exactly the same way, make it a little bit fun.
Yep.
You know, and creating things on timber or as a wooden product. It's also very durable. You know, it's not plastic. It's very soft. It's warm, and it has a longevity to it as well. So that's where it sort of started.
I mean, look, that stuff is incredible. It's really super cool to see what's going on there. And you know, what I love about what the products that you're making is that you're making them with a really unique kind of slant. So let's go back to when you decided that you were going to start creating these pieces. Julie, how did you begin? What kind of research did you do? Did you kind of jump in with both feet straight away? Did you know what kind of machinery that you wanted to kind of explore?
Okay, so it really, honestly, I think it was born from a level of needing to express my creativity. I worked in a very corporate environment. And really just needed a creative outlet because, you know, 7 days a week working on a laptop dealing with everybody else's problems was not where I wanted to be.
Sure, I totally understand that.
Yeah. And you know, as I said, passionate about having a creative side, and it actually came from looking for these products and just couldn't find anything with a personal feeling to it, something that meant something to somebody.
Okay.
And you know, and having and watching children play with these things, even as an R&D, we'd give them to children just to play with, just to see what their reaction was. And watching them grab it an hour later after we'd finished everything and finished discussing everything, and they went back to it and wanted to play with it more, just made us even more and more enthusiastic to create it. And so, yeah, and that's where we are. The biggest thing that I was really trying very, very hard to do with Luna Rose and Co. was to keep it Australian. Okay, right. So keeping it Australian made, i.e. all of my products, all of my materials, everything I can hand on heart say that 97% of the items that I have and I make and I use is Australian. And so buying the Emblaser, really after a fair bit of research and looking at what there is in the industry and not wanting to spend, you know, $50,000 on a great CO2 machine.
Right.
The Emblaser just ticked that box, and I picked up the phone. I spoke to Dom from Darkley's labs in Melbourne, and he gave me a little bit of guidance, and I literally jumped in both feet on my birthday. It was my birthday. I literally bought the machine on my birthday, and the rest is where we are today.
I mean, look, that's amazing. I know that you bought an Emblaser core. I'm just curious, do you happen to see the video that I made of actually assembling the core?
No, had not seen it, had not delved into it. I've seen it post having it, but hadn't seen it prior to it.
That's right. So what I'm asking was, it was basically sight unseen. You bought this kit, you put it together, and you have a range of over 100 products and climbing. What would you say to people who say the Emblaser is a toy, you can't really do anything with it?
Oh no, absolutely not. No, look, if you wanted to put it down as a home hobbyist, you probably could. Can you make a business out of it? Absolutely, you can. Absolutely. It would just mean that, look, there's a level of obviously time, R&D, trial and error that would need to be done, and that's taken us a fair bit of time to get there.
Yep.
And just, I suppose, not giving up hope. And I suppose I'm very blessed that I've got great family and a husband and who support me, and and a daughter with an absolutely creative mind and talent behind me that's done it. So my little passion and dream of wanting to do this really was, it's not on my own, but you can absolutely, without a doubt, if you wanted to use the Emblaser series, whichever machine you have, and I've got the core, so I've got the start at base entry model, and as you can see from our website and our products, there isn't really any, there really is only a very, very few limitations to it, but even that you can get around if you really wanted to.
Absolutely. I'm showing people some of your examples. I love your pizza base, which is a game that comes with a cutter. I thought that was so awesome. It's like you make a pizza and then as you eat it, there's certain things you got to do. I thought that was incredibly creative.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's, again, a little bit of sitting there going, hey, how about we do this with my daughter?
Sure.
And she's like, yeah, great. I suppose that's the beauty of running a small business on your own. We didn't have to have a board meeting to get that approved over the line and for a product to be launched. We came up with the idea. She goes, Mum, do you think you can do it? And I said, let me give it a shot.
Absolutely.
I sat there, worked it out, we did it and launched it. It was great.
That's really cool. We've got some questions from the chat room. I'm going to look over here so I can read them. Rob Ozzie asks, do the products that you make go Australia and worldwide after you purchase it? So, I guess what he's asking is, do you sell these products all over the world?
Look, at this current moment, we are only Australian, and I have shipped all the way to Western Australia, South Australia, Queensland, absolutely. I've got orders ready to go out literally at the door. So Australia-wide at the moment, we haven't delved in international shipment as yet.
Right.
Simply, I believe that there needs to be a little bit of I suppose research done with a level of, because a lot of my products are timber based, whether or not they would have to clear a customs component and so on. So that's really the only reason I haven't delved, but hopefully in the future that's something that we can definitely look at.
That's great, and we have Audrey also in the chat room, and she's asking, was it hard to learn to use this laser?
No, from a person who has never picked up any type of equipment such as this, no. And look, I'm not young. I haven't just left. I don't profess to have a strong engineering degree or background or even a design background. And I was able to pick it up very, very quickly. I use the Lightburn software, which I'm really passionate about. I really love the program. The program is really easy and user-friendly.
Yep.
And it's forgiving to a little bit of extent, but a little bit of trial and error. You know, scrap material, yeah, it's your best friend, so you can trial and error, and you get there.
Graham in the chat room must be mind reading, because he's like, lots of trial and error. Like, you know, all you got to do is you got to kind of go out there. And I see this question a lot. I see it a lot on the Facebook group and in different things. You know, people will come in and they'll say, with the Emblaser, they'll go settings and speed for timber. And you're like, look at the library. Like, check out the library. Like, that's a great place to start. And then they're like, no, shouldn't it be 2 passes? It's like, well, all materials are not made the same. It's like, you know, it depends on what you're doing, what your budget is. One of the questions I wanted to ask is the materials you're using. Are you buying the laser kind of ply and poly and all that sort of stuff, or are you using stuff that's coming from Bunnings for your products?
Oh, that's a really good question, because originally, Gil, you know, there was no real budget per se to start the business. So it was just, you know, what's easily attainable, what's easily accessible.
Absolutely.
I did try a few of the laser ply materials available, but because I live in Sydney, it is actually really hard to get in Sydney.
All right. Okay.
The laser ply is hard to get, and when you do get it, it's quite expensive. So, and to enable us to make our products not only cost effective from a resale point of view, but also trial and error. I mean, if you're buying a laser ply board for $22 for a 600 by 300 sheet, you don't want to be testing on that, because that's quite a costly test exercise. So yes, I'd probably say a fair bit of my material does come from a local hardware store like Bunnings.
Well, why I ask that is, in my own experience, I can go get, let's say, an MDF sheet from Bunnings, cut it down, cut through 3/4 of that sheet, but that last part will not cut. I can do 20, 30 passes, and it's just because of the way the material is manufactured. Sometimes it's a little bit more fibrous, or there's more material in the press, and I mean, they put so much weight on that you don't see it physically. But trying to cut through it, it's a bit of a struggle. And I can imagine if you're starting out off with a product like the Emblaser that uses only 5 watt, and we were talking about it the other day, I see the Emblaser as a surgeon's scalpel, and a CO2 laser is almost like a blunt hammer. You know, there's enough power to just go burn right through. But with the Emblaser Core or the Emblaser 2, you've got to be a little bit have a little finesse with it. So I'm really curious as to, you know, to hear that you're using stuff that's coming out of a hardware. It's not specialized for laser cutting, and you're getting these great results.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, there is a level of additional equipment that I do use. I'm very gracious that my husband is just as passionate about Bunnings tools as what I am. You know, I'm not your average mum or wife. I get excited when we go to Bunnings, especially in the tool section. So look, you know, if it's not achievable from a cut perspective on the Emblaser, and understanding that there are limitations, and not wanting to push the machine to its brink of, you know, potentially destroying it or affecting it in any way, I'll cut the material on a machine, and then I'll bring it back to the Emblaser and say, okay, now you can play Emblaser, now it can work on the other one. So yeah.
I can totally get that. I mean, again, it's really nice to hear. I know that some people, when they don't get results that they want when they're using, let's say, common materials, you know, one of the answer is go and get a sheet of laser ply, because then you'll get the results every time. You'll know it'll cut in 2 passes. You'll be able to do all that sort of stuff. But again, it's incredibly, you know, it's just inspiring to hear this, because there are times where I'm like, you know what, I really want to cut this project, but I don't want to use a piece of MDF from Bunnings. I know it's cheap, but I just don't want to put all this work in, do a 3-4 hour process, and then like it doesn't work. But then again, sometimes it works like butter. So, you know, I think sometimes the Emblaser gets a little bit of a bad rap when you can't recreate that, but it sounds like you've got that nailed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've learned a few tricks in the trade since I've done it, especially when you're using store-bought timbers, such as 3mm plywood, which is you know, one of my favourite friends. Moisture is an absolute Achilles heel to that product.
Absolutely.
Timber is a natural living product. It absorbs moisture, it absorbs heat, it doesn't like the cold. So you've really got to treat it gently and with a level of care. So, you know, and that I've learned to compress my boards, so not just leave them lying around. They're compressed, they're in a controlled environment.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean to cut you off. What's so interesting about that is I recently went down to go get some plywood for another project altogether, and every sheet at Bunnings was warped because the moisture had got in and there was no pressure on it. And I just I think that what you just shared is a really important lesson to people who have laser cutters. You need to treat your materials, you know, in the right way with a little bit of love, and make sure that they're going to work for you in the best way possible. I think a lot of people think, you know, I got a piece of scrap, or I'm going to cut a little piece out of it, I'll throw it underneath the table, it sits there for a few weeks, it gets moisture, it starts to buckle, you throw it in there, and you go, what's going on? When the buckle might take the surface from 0 to, let's say, 3 or 4 mil, with the way the optics on the Emblaser works, that means now the laser is out of focus. You're not going to get a clean cut at all. You'll get some charring and some burning, and then you get responses like, this machine is a joke, it doesn't work. It's actually not the case at all. Before we move on though, I just want to throw to the chat room, not to embarrass anyone. Oh, hang on a second, where did it go? There it is. I have a message here from Richard Parnell, who identifies himself as your husband, and says, yes, she definitely loves Bunnings. So, you know, it's not every day you get spouses coming in here, but it is totally awesome to see. Yeah, it really is a family affair when it comes to the Emblaser and the stuff that you're creating. I'm just going to show people, oh, sorry, I just went to my things, I'm hitting the wrong buttons, but just another example. I really love it's on the right-hand side of the screen right now, but you have a jigsaw to ask people to be part of a bridal family, or a bridal party at a wedding. I thought that is incredible. That is so amazing that you have these sort of properties, you know, these ideas. Hang on a second, I've lost your audio, so I'm just want to come back and. Are you still with us, Julie? You're back.
I'm
You're
still
back.
there.
That's okay. For some reason, it kicked out. I was like, wow. We've got lightning. We've got lightning outside, and I've got a feeling the ions are coming in and messing around with my computer a little bit.
Oh
no! But you're still here. It is totally
Absolutely.
Cool. So I'm just curious. You've got this company. When it comes to kind of like is this? Well, I was going to say, this is not your main. Is this your main source? Is this like your main drive right now, or is this something that you started on the side and you've been building up?
Oh, look, no, it was absolutely a side hustle.
Right.
I was working a corporate job, working 6 days a week, you know, starting at 7 and finishing at 6 at night. So, yeah, absolutely no. This was a side gig, and it was a side hustle just so that I could have a break away from, you know, the corporate life and just having a creative outlet.
Great.
Now, I've since then semi-retired. So I have a 3-day-a-week job that I work for a fantastic online bathroom company, the Blue Space. You saw their products just a few minutes ago. You know, amazing company that I love working for. But I do this on the side. Would I love to turn it into a full passion? Absolutely. Would I love this to be something that I could hand on to my daughter so that she can then continue on and have it as a business? Absolutely. I would love to do that. You know, but I think sometimes you have to naturally let things evolve. You can take it to a certain point and then naturally let it evolve. I believe I now need to take the Emblaser to the next level.
Oh, I like that. I like what you're saying here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, you mentioned the jigsaw puzzle. You know, that's a really, you know, a funny one that you've picked out of all the products that we have on there. And that is a real core reason why we do what we do, because we love it when we get comments from our customers saying, oh my God, you brought my grandma to tears. My bridal party loved their gifts. They were so excited to get them and open them up. You know, you turned a mundane, you know, everyday, you know, proposal into a, you know, an amazing gift and that's a memorable one. when we get that type of feedback, it's that type of feedback that keeps us going. Because, you know, like every business, you have your ups and your downs. But with, you know, I suppose at the end of the day, you know, the customer feedback that we get is really important as well for us. So
it's pretty amazing. The other thing that I just put up, which I absolutely love, is your tic-tac-toe board with the cats and dogs. I think it's just gorgeous. I mean, it's just so creative. And again, I was saying before, one of the things that I love about doing this live stream is seeing what people create. And people create with the same hardware. You know, someone asked in the chat room just before, like, would you ever go and make the labels that I was making, that you might have seen, like the D Live and the YouTube stuff? And it's like, you know, you might want to do it, but that's one thing. I look at the tic-tac-toe board and I just go, wow, like I would never have thought of that. It's just so simple and so cute, and it's something that, you know, I could see a child just you know, getting it at a young age and just playing with it, you know, throughout childhood. It's so awesome. The way you actually express yourself with your products is great, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. The funny thing with our tic-tac-toe, believe it or not, we had it on a coffee table and we've had guests over.
Yep.
If you only knew how many adults sit there and actually play with it, it's really quite funny that, you know, it doesn't matter what age you are. You know, and the educational part of it, that's really, really, really important to us. If there's any way that I can, in any way, shape or form, mold, shape, or change a child's mind into the direction of, hey, let's make it fun while we're learning. That's why we call it learn and play. You know, you can learn and you can play at the same time, because let's be honest, nobody just wants to learn and not play. So, you know, that's really important for us. So it's a message as well as creative, as well as keeping it Australian, and all rolled into one.
You really hit the nail on the head. I mean, my day job is as a creative technologist in the education field. You know, I'm all about the makerspace. I'm all about technology. Traditionally, school is all about reading out of a book, and now there's a new model of actually going out and doing it. And the points that you made, I feel they strike home with me. It's about connecting. It's about learning. The human being, the human animal, learns through experience, whether that's playing with something that's made as a educational tool, or whether going through the process themselves to make whatever it is that inspires them. It's all about expression. It's all about communication. I think that if you look at it, most of the actions that anyone takes is about expressing something along the way. I always say to people who say, what's a creative technologist? What do you do? I simply say to them, I take your imagination and I place it in the palm of your hand, so that you can put it in someone else's, so they can have an experience around it that actually kind of combines to the all over experience of what's been actually created. And that's what I love about the Emblaser. I mean, it's a machine. It compared to other laser cutters, it's a very low investment to get involved. Your business here shows that you can take this equipment and really create a side hustle that is, I wouldn't actually have called it a side hustle at all. But with 100 products, right? That's not a side hustle. A side hustle is you make 3 or 4 things and you kind of push them out. I mean, you're really creating a foundation for a business. I'm just curious, when your competitors or people who are also in the laser game come up and talk to you about it, what's their reactions when you say, I have an Emblaser compared to, you know, I have a 50-watt CO2 laser?
That's a really good question, Gil, because you know, of late, you know, I've been in contact with just through other avenues, but even going to, you know, Printex expos, and when people hear that you've got an Emblaser and you show them what you do on it, it's really amazing. But really, is usually the first response I get, or reaction I get on a diode laser.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of, you get that really negative, and also, well, here's the proof in the pudding. So it's proof. I only have that machine at home. So, you know, hand on heart, I don't have another machine. That is what I have, and that's what I can produce out of it. So, you know, I kind of, yeah, smugly and quite happily sort of say that. I get a little bit, you know, well, see, I can do it. So, you know, people that put the, you know, the Emblaser down and say, oh, you know, look, it can't cut clear plastic and it doesn't like white. Yeah, I know, but let's be honest. Why do you have to be everything to everybody?
Right.
And you need to sometimes be clever. You need to sometimes, oh, okay, well, that's something I can't do. Let's just outsource that. So, I'll outsource that particular product if I have to, or if a customer actually requests that as a special order, then that's fine. I'll go source that elsewhere. So the limitation isn't there with the Emblaser. It's just your imagination.
I think you sum it up very nicely, and I think it's more about methodology. It's about workflow. It sounds to me that you have a really strong handle, not just on what the Emblaser can do, but also what the Lightburn software can do. And Lightburn is forever being updated. It's not strictly for the Emblaser. It's actually, I'm confident in saying that there's a lot of laser users who use Lightburn on CO2, on fibers, on diode lasers. The flexibility in that software really is, it kind of shows that it's the magic ingredient that allows you to create very quickly, very fast on any sort of machine, including the Emblaser. So it's great to see what you're creating and what you've got, like an ongoing process, and I have no doubt you're not going to stop at 100. You're going to create more things in your repertoire and in your offerings. It is awesome to see that, and it's great to hear that it sounds like people know what the Emblaser is. Again, when people say things like it doesn't punch through like clear acrylic, for me, it's more an educational issue. It's that idea that like laser cutting the price has dropped dramatically, so that a lot of people, a lot of hobbyists can now get into the game. I see lots and lots of posts of people who are like, I'm buying this red and black machine from China and I'm getting it delivered for like $5,000. And then later on they're like, whoa, this doesn't do what it does, or the tube's broken and I can't get support. I see people buying the K90s and then pulling out the boards and putting other boards in to use Lightburn and try. I actually have a friend who bought one of these machines. It caught on fire in his garage, and he kind of almost burnt down his garage. Not to knock those machines, but it's also a level of education. So in the case of a diode laser, you're never going to get a diode laser to cut something that's clear, because it actually uses the energy is transported in the visible spectrum. If you can look through it, if you can see something through a piece of material, then that energy is going to be transferred right across. And once people understand that, they go, okay, well, now I understand what a diode laser does. I really want to do this. I've got to look at a different format to be able to do it. The two things that I've really kind of gotten a little bit of attention on is explaining the difference between a diode and a CO2 laser, just in that wavelength spectrum, which people then go, wow, yeah, I get that. I understand now why it won't cut, or I understand that I can engrave just a little bit if I put a piece of material on it, and it's only going to focus that energy as long as that piece of material is there, and then it's going to go pass all the way through. And the other one is testing material for chlorine, because it's such an important thing. I don't know how many times I was speaking to Dominic, and he goes, oh yeah, you know what, I just got a machine, someone put in some PVC records because they wanted to make some clocks, not realizing that PVC turns into chlorine gas when it's atomized. It combines with the moisture in the atmosphere. It turns into the same chlorine gas they were using in World War I. So you can not only destroy your machine because it eats all the electronics and plastic, but you can also poison yourself if you're unlucky enough to be in an enclosed space. And I don't know how many people reach out and they go, thank you so much for showing us the Bellstein test, which is a test you can do literally in 10 seconds to see and test a material and see whether or not it has chlorine in it. And I get scared sometimes for people who go and buy the equipment, haven't done the research, haven't done the learning, and potentially this equipment, can be dangerous if you use it in the wrong way.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Look, I think they're not toys. I think a home hobbyist may buy it. They're not toys, but they are absolutely a piece of equipment that you could very easily teach a child to use.
Absolutely,
if that makes sense. So. Not that it should be treated as a toy, but yeah, you would definitely be able to teach even Lightburn. I mean, if I can learn it, anybody can learn it. It's not a hard program to learn or a machine to use. It's very easy to use.
That's the main kind of difference between the Emblaser Core and the Emblaser 2. The Emblaser 2 is designed to be in a classroom. It's designed to be an enclosed machine. If you lift up that lid, there are 4 different fail-safe mechanisms that will cut in and cut power to the laser. There's a lot of Emblaser 2 users who get really upset because sometimes you can trigger those fail-safes and stop a process going through. And the boys are definitely working on improving that. But it's the first machine that I've seen in a maker or maker space area that has a true fail-safe process, meaning that if one of those things don't check out, you can't engage it. A lot of people will put a switch, a little micro switch, and the micro switch is on. Well, you can go in there and you can press that switch down. I was sharing with you the other day that working in a local makerspace here, we were aligning some mirrors on I think it was a 50-watt laser, and I was doing this with a friend, and he got a little punchy. My hand happened to be in the path of the laser. He accidentally pressed it only for a second, a split second, and that laser went right through my finger. It felt like someone had taken a hot needle and placed it right in my finger. It actually cauterized the wound instantly, and I looked at him with like shock in my hand, like shock all over my face, and kind of clutching my hand. Thank goodness I didn't move it, because you can imagine if the beam would have just cut it literally like a knife. He felt terrible. Having had that experience, it's like, yeah, these things are not toys. They're not toys. They're actual pieces of equipment. And you know what? The way technology is moving, we are going to get these tools to make bespoke products in our own homes, and it sounds as exactly what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Now, before we let you go, I just wanted to ask, how important is? Oh, hang on a second. I wrote this question down. I didn't want to forget it. I'm sorry. This week has been threw me off a little bit. But what future improvements to the Emblaser system would you really like moving forward?
Yeah. So I mean, the team at Darkly Labs are amazing. From a contact and a reference, I've never had been in a position where I've rung and not had a response or a callback or them helping or assisting. They've been absolutely amazing. So hopefully I'd love to be able to give them my feedback on having used it in a business capacity. A few things I would love to see them do is probably, a few more accessories like a honeycomb type plate for when you're creating smaller items for them to drop away once they've cut successfully. They've already started implementing, magnetic clips to hold your product down, but maybe making the material height slightly higher than what it is currently, because it's slightly lower, for the type of materials that I'm doing. So maybe looking at, I know that this product was really for the home hobbyist and for more of an educational purpose, but I'm hoping that they can see that, this could be a small business product, whether or not small businesses, want to take it down that track or not. Maybe the Emblaser team will see that, having seen that I've successfully been able to do it, working with them on, creating this to take it to a lot further places than where it is right now.
Absolutely. I think you're an incredible example. Just one final question. What would you say to someone who's kind of teetering? They might have an Emblaser, or they want to invest in one, start a business, a little side hustle. What would you say to them if they were like, I don't know if this is going to be, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it with this?
Oh, look, go for it. Take a gamble. It's not a huge investment. Like when you look at the big scheme of what's on the market at the moment, that can create the same level of detail and product. It's not a huge investment. It's a very, very small investment to see whether or not it will or won't work. The community, the Emblaser community, is a phenomenal community to tap in there for, everybody's really willing to give advice and assistance and help. I know I'd be more than happy to do that if anybody's looking at entering that world. I'd be more than happy to let them know, that there's downsides to it, but there's far more upsides than there is downsides. And the downsides is just running a business, to be honest. But yeah, absolutely, dive in, both feet. You won't be disappointed. It's been a great journey.
It's fantastic to talk to you here, Julie, about your journey, not just with your business, but also with the Emblaser. I mean, I think that it's too easy to have an experience with any sort of equipment and just go, yeah, nah, it doesn't work for me. But I think you're the living embodiment of what persistence and workflow can do. I mean, I've got lots of questions which I'm going to take. I'm sure we're going to have a conversation off this stream again, because I'm like, okay, hang on, I got to work. What materials are you using, and how did you do that? I mean, again, just even talking to me, it just inspired to be able to take the resources I have and go, hey, that thing that I was thinking about that people seem to connect to, maybe we can, create a small side hustle. Maybe not a website, maybe I'll do an Etsy store to begin with, but it's about exploring that and seeing where you can go. And again, I see the Emblaser not just for schools, but for hobbyists and then for people who want to start their own small businesses. I think this is an incredible place to begin. Whether you may end up with a different type of machine or a different type of workflow, no one can say, but it is definitely a way to be able to enter that market and, as you've proven here, create some return of that investment.
Absolutely. I've definitely made the machines money, without a doubt.
Great.
And not even having to have inflated product prices either. It's making it achievable and accessible to everybody. And this machine, the Emblaser, enables you to do that. Enables you to keep the product pricing low, because you don't have to pay for a $40,000 machine. You don't have to, you don't have to inflate your pricing of your product to pay off a $40,000 machine. So you can still keep it very achievable. But even if I decided to fold the business tomorrow, which obviously that's not going to happen, but if I decided to, I'd probably still keep the Emblaser, because it's a really great tool. It's a really great piece of equipment and machinery that I don't think I'd ever part with it.
That says it all. I mean, there's so many other things I want to talk about. I mean, one of the things I like about the Emblaser and the guys at Darkly Labs are they're just a phone call away. Doesn't matter if you're in Australia or England, they will reach out to you. If you've got a problem, they're on there. There's not many products today that has that sort of level of service. And I mean, we've had Dominic on the show, and you can tell his investment in creating a positive experience, and that's one of the reasons why I love the company and the product so much. It's not everything that I kind of say how great it is and actively kind of push for it. I love the fact that they're Australian based. I love the fact that they jumped in to an international market. A lot of products from China, a lot of products from the US, a lot of companies starting with a lot more collateral than Darkly. And I'm super excited about the announcement they made a few weeks ago that the next machine will have 10 times the power. I mean, a 50-watt machine, laser diode. No one can sit there and say it's a toy then. I mean, it's going to be amazing.
I know. Super excited. Let me tell you, super excited about that. I really wanted to keep my passion and my loyalty with the Emblaser.
Yep.
But wanting to expand the business and wanting to expand my product line, I tentatively looked onto the dark side of going to a CO2, because I thought, well, if this is it, I can't go any further. I need to expand. But now that I know about, the next gen,
right.
Or what do we call her, Emblaser Pro or not, whatever we call it.
3. I think they're calling it Emblaser 3. Both of us agree, Julie and I agree, Dom, if you're listening, Emblaser Pro sounds a lot better.
We like Laser Pro, Dom.
Emblaser Pro, Emblaser Pro. But I think it's going to be amazing. I just want to share with you the chat room before we head off, because there are some great comments in there. So we've got there. So we've got late to the party, but was tidying up the man cave, said Mike, and he said great site and products on Julie's website. So he's already gone over and he's taken a look. So
wonderful.
It's amazing. I mean, it's always good to get that feedback as well. It is very cool to hear your story, and I really want to thank you for taking time out. I know that you're visiting family right now, and you've kind of gone into a bedroom so that you can make sure that we could have this time to actually explore your business and what you're passionate about. So I really thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Gil. I've looked forward to it, and I thank you. Very informative. Love listening to you.
Thank you.
And when you can share your passion and your dream with other people that have the same passion and dream and feelings about something, it's very special. So I thank you for having me on board today.
I appreciate it. I mean, the theme I really bring up a lot, and we've even spoken to today, is all about communication, and this is just another form of it. And you know what? I would not be surprised if someone's watching right now who's basically been sitting there going, I want to do something, I don't know what it is, and they go, you know what? Let's try that. And it comes out of this conversation, it's exactly what we want. It's not whether they go with the Emblaser or something else, that's neither here nor there. You've got to be on the playing field to get the result, and you're a great example of getting those results.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Gil.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Julie. Great. So that is pretty much the laser live stream this week, or this episode of the laser live stream. As I said, I had some things planned, unfortunately, because of some events that happened earlier this week. I wasn't able to get them lined up. I'm always open to questions. I have been receiving questions through my website, which you can go to, thekoshertonystark.com. I'm more than happy to answer some of those questions. We are going to be looking at maintaining your laser cutter in the near future, as well as releasing some videos about how you can actually go about cutting and testing material to get the best settings for either a CO2 or diode laser. Look out for those things coming up. If anyone has any questions before we go, I'm more than happy to kind of take them. Rob Ozzy's asking in the chat room, what is Julie's website? You can actually get the link just below in the comments, not the comment section, but if you go down, you will actually see there's a link to it. But if you haven't, if you want to type it in manually, the link to Julie's site is lunarose.co.com.au. There is as I said, a bit.ly link so that you can go and check it out. And if you can't find that, I will put it in the comments just after this laser live stream. Guys, it's been an absolute ball. I see we've got 16 people watching. If this is your first time to my YouTube channel, we talk about lasers, we talk about hints and tips, we talk to a whole bunch of different makers, and I also share my maker journey. It would help me out immensely if you just go down to that little right-hand corner right there, just all the way down, and you hit that little picture of me. That will actually allow you to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any videos that are coming up. It is awesome to be here. Graham in the chat room says, interesting chat, Julie. Hope to take a look at your site. Rob Ozzy also says, okay, great work, Julie. We're going to be here in 2 weeks' time. If you have an Emblaser and want to join us on Facebook, it's the Emblaser 2 users group. Definitely check that out. I'm usually hanging around there, and I look forward to the next time that I see you guys. I want to thank you all. If you happen to be in a COVID area like myself, that it happens to be locked down, or you've got large numbers, please stay indoors. Get creative. Go make something. This is it's an incredible time to test your creativity, and just stay safe. The message is stay safe. We want to see what you make. You are important, and what you create is important. So we will see you next time here on the Laser Livestream. I'll catch you really soon.